This video is made possible by LD Player. LD Player has been providing me with really stable frame rates for PGR so far, and it also comes with a preset key mappings for ease of customization. Be sure to check out the download page link in the description below. And let's begin the overview for Alpha. Hello everyone, Rexlent here. This is a recap of my Alpha guide stream on the best ways to gear her. If you haven't seen it, the VOD is in the description below for a more in-depth analysis. Disclaimer as usual, this is just my opinion for the optimal approach for Alpha. Feel free to come up with your own ideas if you like. With that out of the way, let's get straight into it. Now let's talk about her signature weapon. If you're F2P, Kuji no Sara is fine. If you're a spender, definitely try to go for a signature weapon. And if you're a spender, you should probably already have the free Sirius weapon given to you. If you don't remember what Sirius is, it's the 6-star katana that belongs to nobody, so you can consider feeding that to Alpha Sakura. So a short overview about 6-star weapon resonance. The 3 slots have their own respective effects. The top slot gives 15% weapon damage, the second slot gives 1 additional orb when you switch into character, and 3 identical orbs every 45 seconds, and this counts even when off-field. And this is the slot that you want to resonate first for most characters. The third slot gives the character a large movement speed buff during Matrix, and all enemies take 10% more damage during it. Not to mention, the second slot gets buffed later in a future patch, and characters get 2 extra orbs per switch in instead of 1. So if you're planning to resonate Alpha's weapon, the recommended slot priority order is 2, 3, and 1. Now let's talk about the ranks. If you're F2P, S rank is enough and you can consider getting her to SS rank via Pain Cage Skulls, which you can exchange 30 fragments out of, and it'll require a total of 500 skulls. If you're a spender, SSS is a nice place to stop at as it gives you 5% extra damage and an additional 2 random signal orbs when you exit Sword Wave. So this allows easier getting back to Sword Wave mode right away. Let's talk about the memory sets. Although I've recommended Frederick's for high burst build, Pattern is also good for consistent damage, and I recommend getting 12 patterns from the Frozen Darkness event shop to resonate them all to Alpha to expedite her awakening at level 80. What awakening does is that the character will always start with 3 additional identical orbs, and that translates to more sword waves for Alpha. As for Fred vs Pattern, in its most condensed explanation, Fred for high burst but only within a 4-second window, and Pattern for consistency in damage and crit. If you want a more elaborate explanation, you can find it in my stream VOD in the description below. The timestamp has already been marked by a helpful user. Shout out to Junior Jaw for the trouble. As for her resonance, her optimal resonance is attack and crit plus 15 for the top slot and core passive level for the bottom slot. If you didn't manage to get them on your first resonance, don't worry, just leave it as it is because rerolling is extremely serum intensive even if you whale your limited daily refills. You have way better things to do with your serum at the moment, such as leveling more characters for endgame content, than worrying about rerolling resonances. You can come back to it next time when you're at the endgame. Now let's talk about the basics of her gameplay. Generally, you will always switch Alpha in instead of starting the battle with her. This is to capitalize on the additional 4 orbs when you switch your character in, 5 if you have the second slot resonance on her 6-star weapon. And this, in theory, is the simplest part. You only need to care about activating her core passive, which is 3 blue and 3 of any color at the same time. So 6 orbs to prepare for her sword wave, but generally, we usually do 4 because of the matrix ping. So you rarely ever need to care about yellow and red orbs. The only time you use them is to sort your orb bar for more sword waves. Everything is for the sword wave. Attacking right after dodging with Alpha also puts her straight to the 3rd combo of her basic attack, so this can also increase your DPS. If you notice, her sword waves get 2 additional mini waves, and that's due to her blue orb buff. This is why it's important to always perform 3 blue ping and 3 of any together and not separately. And this is what happens when you separate the blue ping from the sword wave, and it'll result in a loss of damage. And that really is it for Alpha's gameplay in a nutshell. All you need is our management skills to always be triggering sword waves. Her signature move doesn't really do a lot of damage in the endgame, and you generally only use it defensively, such as recovering your dodge meter or using its iframe to dodge an incoming attack. As for the team build, this is an example of a pain cage build. I'll just show it to you without talking much, and you'll see for yourself what Alpha is capable of in the endgame. Even if she's not SSS plus like in this demonstration, you could still yield effective results, thus greatly simplifying fights. And this is an example of a Warzone build with Alpha in it. As Global still hasn't had the option to select the starting character and leader buff yet, you can consider placing Alpha as the leader, and you will be mostly alternating between Karen and Alpha for most of the Warzone battle. Nanami 3 or blue pinks can be used to weaken the Wave 8 boss, before proceeding to Sword Wave. And that's the end of my short overview of Alpha. Again, if you want a more in-depth analysis and examples, head over to my stream bot link in the description below. Consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah. So people who are saying they're gonna skip Alpha, hope they don't watch this stream. It's a secret. Shh.